Hi, I'm George Pino, CEO of Commercial Brokers International, and I just want to talk a little bit about our reflections for the year and my projections for the upcoming year. So we're now nearing the end of the first year of the new political leadership, and whether you like him or not, you have to admit it has been an interesting year. So what I'd like to focus on, though, is kind of what it has meant to us in the real estate industry and what I foresee it happening in the coming up. I think over the last year we really haven't seen much of a change through the real estate industry. At first there was a little bit of worry and what was going to happen with the economy, but then it kind of got faith again and we started moving forward, and if anything we've seen some really large leaps and bounds overall, with rental rates, prices are still at an all-time high, and cap rates are still pretty low. We've seen a little bit of decompression in cap rates across the board on certain asset classes, but for the most part they've remained strong throughout the year. Where do I see this going next year? Well, hard to say, but I don't see that many changes. I see the multifamily market, especially in the Los Angeles submarket, remaining very strong as we have more people moving in than moving out. Need for housing is still at an all-time high. In addition to that, I do see the office market probably softening up a little bit as we see a little bit of new online offices coming online, new developments being built, and also we're also starting to see a lot more subleases coming up. Things to consider as we see the migration from the Silicon Beach area to the west side to the downtown Los Angeles, how that's going to affect rents across the board, and as well as vacancy rates, and how landlords are going to have to react to that. So overall, in the office market sector, I do see it softening up a little bit over the next year. Retail, if anything, is probably the most interesting submarket, and how retailers and landlords of retailers are going to react and cope to what we see the ever-changing landscape of retail, whether it's experiential retail or the retail Armageddon that everyone's been talking about for online sales. How is that going to happen? How are we going to see it? Overall, I do see that certain really high-end markets are going to have to lower their rents and take that into account, especially with the certain neighborhoods being increases in minimum wage laws, how the retailers are going to be able to cope and actually make money, or is it just going to end up being a loss leader for advertising because they want to be on a name brand street? So those are all things to consider in the coming year. When it comes to investments, I think a lot's going to depend on the new political regulations that they're trying to put in place with the tax reform. And if it does go through, I think if anything for commercial real estate, it'll probably be a little bit of a boom. It'll really have people interested a little bit more in the commercial real estate, probably less so in second homes because there won't be as much of a write-off available to them. So they're going to look to different ways they can actually increase their revenue, such as just one small aspect of the new tax reform that they're looking at is changing the depreciation schedule for commercial properties. Just that alone can increase the cash flow to the investor substantially. So that, I think, is going to make commercial investments a little bit more attractive. So overall, I don't see a whole lot of big changes over the next year. I see some flattening, some softening of some markets, but I think that overall for Los Angeles, we're still going to remain pretty strong. It's been a great year so far this year as we wrap it up, and I'm sure it'll be a great year next year as well.